Family businesses make up a quarter of the British economy and employ nearly 10 million people. But 1,000 small firms are going bust every single month.
Sorry.
This business is on a knife edge.
At some point, we're going to have to call it a day.
For God's sake, do something.
For family firms, it's not just profits, but relationships on the line.
£50,000 now, you'll never see me go.
I don't know if it's ever going to get better.
You must see some hope. Otherwise, let's not bother with this. No. I grew up in a family business that expanded from one small cafe to become an empire worth billions. Now I'm trying to bring 6 family firms back from the brink. This is a business. You're ruining your health, you're ruining your family life. He's just used to getting his own way, and I'm used to getting mine. This week, a seaside business struggling to survive to the next generation.
Yeah, you've got to let go, Mum.
It's not going to pass over lightly.
Will a controlling mother
Lee's got a lot of skills to learn before she can step into my shoes.
and a family at odds
Don't talk. Do it, for God's sake.
lead to mutiny at the bakery?
I honestly beg you, Elaine, to think about how you're going to work this hierarchy.
This conversation's gone too far anyway.
$15 million holidaymakers descend on Cornwall every summer. And it seems all those who love food head here to Padstow. It's packed with restaurants, delis and food outlets and home to the celebrated Rickstein Empire. It's known as the food capital of Cornwall. I've been called to the aid of one of its longest-standing family firms, the Harbourside Toff Bakery.
I'm on this beautiful fishing harbour in a very pretty town that's become synonymous with some very good food in the southwest. And it seems to me that this is a very good place to have a food business.
But all is not well at the bakery.
5 months of the year, we lose money. March last year, we lost something like, was it nearly 30,000 in 1 month? You know, crazy.
They're the coldest tariffs, so I'll give you some hotter ones.
The business was started 31 years ago by Elaine and Rob Eade.
I had this idea of creating a small bakery in Padstow. I suppose I'm the great visionary of the company. Oh, lovely jubbly. We're doing Victoria sponges next week.
Mother is the boss. I'll give you that. She's definitely the boss.
Elaine and Rob want to retire, so they've made their daughter, Louisa, the manager, and put son, Greg, in charge of sales. But the transition hasn't been smooth.
Shop deliveries, everything used, ingredients, shop use, samples.
Can we just get back to the whole idea and the point of this discussion and the reason why, you know, you're trying to plan.
Working with families, I don't know whether I'd recommend it to anyone.
Or wasted.
Greg.
It's the other thing you...
Yeah, Greg,
Let Louise a minute.
Along with the family frictions, Elaine has had to remortgage her house to keep the business afloat. Action is needed if the bakery is to have a future.
This business is on a knife edge. If it doesn't change, no one will have a job. We'll all be out of work.
Yeah, you've got full-time staff, they've got families to feed, you know, they've got rent to pay. It's quite a responsibility.
Unless we do something different, it's not going to exist in 2 or 3 years' time.
I've got just 3 months to try to make a difference. And even though I've got some insider knowledge of this industry, it's a huge challenge.
I do have a certain amount of experience in bakeries, as I have a wholesale bakery myself, but I have never had a shop. My immediate impression is it doesn't make you want to charge in and buy your Cornish pasty here, despite the location being immaculate. The signage that tells you that everything's made locally on the premises daily looks very generic. I mean, I hate that sign there, and I hate that sign there. This is the only thing that looks a bit more personal. Then, where is the product? I don't actually have any product made visible to me. Instead, I have this awful decal on the window. There's a broken window, which gives a very bad impression. There's a sign that's then printed out on computer. I mean, every single day tripper who comes off a ferry is going to come just from there. They have to pass this shop. They should be making money out of every single person who comes into this town.
Inside, there's more bad news. Untidy signs and stickers litter the place.
They do have a real obsession with sticking things on windows, clearly.
The bread in a side window looks pretty ordinary. And the range of cakes and confectionery is a flashback to the 70s. Not at all what I'd expect in such a famously foodie town.
But really boring.
Hi there,
Hello,
Alex.
how are you?
I'm
Alex
very well.
Polizzi.
Hi, I'm Elaine.
Lovely
and you've come
to be here.
help me make some sandwiches today, is that right?
Great. So tell me, you started this about 30 years ago.
Yes. I actually bought it 31 years ago. I had the cunning plan that maybe we could open a bakery in Padstow, as there actually wasn't one at the time, a production bakery.
Yeah.
And I think I created a monster, to be quite honest, Alex.
Yeah.
Of course, there is friction, isn't there, between family
Always.
members.
Do you want to be more specific?
Well, there's friction between Louise and Greg. Obviously, I mean, when they're kids, and nothing's changed. I mean, when they're kids, I used to just bang their heads together. Bye, Edna, bye.
Elaine's daughter Louisa has been here 9 years. Part of her job is to oversee the production of their award-winning Cornish pasty.
What is it that you're putting on? It is clotted cream.
A lot of people use butter, but
Yeah.
we've always used cream. My gran, well, we used to have the milk round, and my gran used to make clotted cream. So we used to obviously have a lot
Brilliant.
about, so she always used to put it in the pasties.
I'm amazed that isn't stated somewhere on your... When you mention a pasty.
Yeah.
You know, darling, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Who would think that there's clotted cream in a pasty?
It is. I mean,
It's
some people
daft
like
not to
it.
shout about such a unique recipe. In a town like this, their products need to stand out.
I know this is an old family recipe. Have you tried tweaking it? Have you tried... I mean, who decides on recipes and what to do next? And
I mean, I have been trying to make a curried pasty for a few years. My mother keeps saying over my dead body, so after the wake, I'll be there.
Louisa seems keen to develop the chough's offering, but I can see escaping the shadow of her mother might not be easy.
So, answer the phone, somebody. Answer the phone, Tom.
Hello, Chough.
If it's working, you know, don't fix it. That's my sort of... If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's been my attitude.
They're both, and I have to say, exceedingly stubborn at times.
She's biting at the bit now, I think, to change it.
But when they're both together, if they've got two different ideas around the same subject, then, oh boy, yeah, they're just butting heads. Well,
At the end of the day, it's her baby, you know, and she's not going to pass it over lightly, I can tell you that.
The other contender to take the reins is Elaine's son, Greg. He's a relative newcomer, only joining the business 18 months ago.
nice to meet you. Can I come in?
Yeah, of course you can.
Thank
Please,
you.
come in. There's a chair for you.
Most of the time, he's not even here, working from his home in Wales.
But I am the sort of person that makes decisions on the basis of cold, hard facts,
Yeah.
doing my research properly, listing out the pros and the cons and coming to a decision on that basis.
I mean, what do you think? Do you think you're the brains of the operation?
No, I wouldn't say that.
What proportion of your time is spent actually selling?
Very small, actually, but, you know, I've converted most of the people I've gone out and done, so it's a quality, not a quantity thing.
But what proportion of the business overall in the year is wholesale, and how much goes straight to the shop?
Well, it was only 15% last year.
15%?
Yeah.
A 15% wholesale figure is shocking, and as sales manager, Greg should be ashamed of himself. The Toff has a large off-site bakery run by head baker and Elaine's nephew, Ryan, where there are the facilities and space to up production considerably.
I mean, Greg's never worked in a business, and he's sort of come in straight away to a partnership, which, I mean, Ryan and myself have worked years towards. The other thing is he doesn't know an awful lot about the business. He's not got a background in business. Unfortunately, he seems to have he's overconfident with what he thinks he knows, which a lot of the time isn't enough.
I see myself as, you know, trying to provide a guiding influence, trying to provide expert, almost like a consultant, you know. 4 different bloody rental agreements you had, all having annual bloody increases. How'd you over a bloody barrel? Everybody, apart from me, the leaders, my sister, Ryan, they're all at the coalface chipping around, and they haven't got the time to get out the mine and go, well, where are we going anyway, you know?
Yeah, OK, you came in and did it. It's not right to say that we wouldn't have done anything else.
Yeah, please, Robert, you're going cross. You're going arrogant.
The family dysfunction hasn't escaped the notice of Dad Rob, who seems trapped in the crossfire.
The business has got to change. It's no use staying as we are or going backwards. We've got to move forwards. They've got to learn to really concentrate on the important thing about moving forward, the need for agreement. And really, if we don't, you know, we should just have to sell the business and put the beast out of its misery, so to speak.
Rob's right. Swift action is needed if the chough is going to survive into the next generation. And the company's accounts expose the cold, hard facts.
In March, they made a significant loss of 16%. Based on the size of their bakery and the size of my bakery, that surprises me, because even in the very worst month here, we never make more than a 10% loss.
On top of all their other problems, the Eade family's business is being crippled by Cornwall's seasonality. 86% of their turnover is generated between April and October.
We lost money in November, December, January, February and March. But the only reason they've survived this long is Mum and Dad have pumped their own money into the business to keep it alive during the winter. If they didn't do that, it would go bust.
It's a situation that can only get worse.
Of course, there have been huge increases in the costs of various goods. Everything dairy, fuel's gone up enormously, packaging has gone up, flour has gone up 20%. So that, of course, does hit the bottom line, but this is last year's figures.
It's clear that big changes need to be made, but other than Greg, I don't think the family realised just how serious the situation is.
These accounts are not just for putting in the loo and using to, you know, fan yourselves. Your bottom line at the moment looks quite profitable because you don't draw a salary per se, and it isn't shown in this profit. And you're still having to recommit your own money into the business to keep it going through the lean times. And so the figures are completely skewed. You making your fantastic award-winning pasties isn't enough. And I think that has to be just clearly understood, that there isn't any going back.
The bottom line is, time's running out for us too, really.
I'm aware of that.
Transforming the chough won't be easy, and to do so, the family will have to set aside their differences and all pull together. We'll need to revitalise their shop and products, find a wider market for their pasties, and win significantly more wholesale business for their speciality breads, which currently are far from special. And that's the first thing I want to tackle. I've invited the next generation up to London to learn from the best baker I know, though I may be biased. He's my husband, Marcus.
Through here, we have the production area. And over in this area, during the day, we're producing all of our tin bread, and at night, then, we use this area for speciality.
Marcus is a master baker following a long family tradition. 14 years ago, we started our own wholesale bakery, which now supplies everyone from burger bars to the Caprice Restaurant Group and Gordon Ramsay.
How many people do we have working here at the moment?
50.
How many did you start with?
Just me and you. Back in the good old days.
Back in the good old days.
I know Marcus is a stickler for detail, so this should help raise their game.
Let's try the large white bloomer. The cut, what I would say is about your cuts.
It's a bit deep.
It's not necessarily the depth of them, it's the angle.
Yeah.
Because you've gone more across the loaf,
Yeah.
the only way the loaf can grow is underneath.
Right, yeah.
That's why it splits.
All right, yeah.
On your seam there. If you cut it further along the
Yeah.
loaf, you'll get the growth at the top.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it'll flare from the top of the loaf. It looks like you're using a lot of improver.
Yeah, we do use improvers, yeah.
Improvers are expensive, aren't they?
Very.
Yeah.
It's the most expensive
Yeah, it is,
part.
yeah.
So if we could cut that down, that could shave a bit off.
This is your olive. You can see here where it's actually dropped down.
Yeah.
And your crumb here is compressed.
Yeah.
That's not very good at all. And what's this one?
The untraditional focaccia.
Okay. Let's have a look.
Cornish focaccia.
It's like a...
And it's very deep and a little bit oily. When you bake in the tin, you're holding all the oil
Yeah, so it's
in
just
the base, so
soaking,
it ends up frying if you're not careful. You can
That's
cut down on the herbs a
herbs.
little bit. They cost money.
Yeah.
They're expensive.
Shall I get
It's-
one of
it's
yours?
quite dense.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
We saw those, yeah.
This is one of ours. This
Yeah.
is olive, and this is about the depth of the focaccia.
Yeah, yeah. That's really nice.
Yeah.
But revamping their bread will be pointless if Greg doesn't get out and sell it.
Do you want to try some?
And that will take an intimate knowledge of the product, something he will currently struggle with.
I think you have to be very gung-ho about... You know, when we started this business, I had never baked bread, I'd never sold a loaf of bread, and I'd never driven a van before. You know, let alone him getting me to clean his 2,000-foot bakery, as it was at the time. I learned how to do all those things because we really wanted to succeed. You need to make a big effort to sell. You can't wait for people to come to you. You know, every time a new restaurant opens, you should be bloody there banging on the door. And
That's my
Greg,
job.
what is evident is that Greg doesn't have enough product knowledge because he's only there 2 days a week.
For me, the knowledge thing is actually getting involved in the production of the bread and stuff, because you need to have the intimate knowledge of how it's made and how it's produced and what ingredients go into it. And I don't mind doing that. You know, I will over the next month or two actually do days in the bakery and in the shop to you know, get that intimate knowledge of production.
Bread is not the only thing that the family could be wholesaling. They've clearly got a brilliant product in their pasty. And if they could develop a frozen version to sell to retailers outside the county, it could massively reduce their seasonality problems.
Lay 6 down this end as well. In a minute, please.
What, do 2 jobs at once?
Didn't ask you to, dear.
So I've gathered the whole family together in the Chough's pasty kitchen.
What I'd like you to discuss is whether you're going to try and find a solution to your frozen pasty dilemma.
I think it's the level at which you freeze them. You're going to have to look at stuff like freezer protocols, health and safety, traceability, which is all sort of like...
We don't know. I don't know. It's...
I mean,
Let's all give ourselves a week off and do it.
We spend £150 million a year on pasties in this country, with most sold outside of Cornwall. And I want the Eade family to get in on the act, but coming to any sort of agreement seems beyond them.
We need an action plan of how to do it.
Yeah.
I think the first one we've got to do is just develop a pasty that can be frozen and baked
Yes.
properly first before
That's
we
the
have to
first
worry about anything
step.
like that.
Well, what is the legislation?
Oh, there's tons, Greg.
I don't know anything.
It's a big project. It's a big project.
Just a minute. There is a thing called due diligence.
But can I just point out something? You're all going round and round again. This is obviously what you do. So, yes, you're creating more problems than you're solving.
First, we've got to do a pasty.
So, no, I suggest you do everything. No, darling, you don't. You give everyone a job to do. You know, why don't each of you take one aspect of that, and then I'd like us to agree that you will have all those findings to present, because at least we'll be able to make it a decision and put one thing to bed. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Alex.
Okay, good.
Okay.
The interesting thing is, I'm not convinced one way or the other whether a frozen pasty is the right way to go. I just want the evidence in front of me, and then it's easy to decide.
We should have it all ready and we can all sit down together and go, OK, right, you know, this is the product, this is what it tastes like, this is going to work.
She wants a solution, which we don't get to. We never get to solutions.
Well, we're finding out all the information will tell us what the solution is going to be.
But we can't just do our individual things.
All I'm saying
We've got
is...
to work together.
It is a project, but we've all got individual tasks. We're not all doing the same thing. Just get on with it.
Like bloody Punch and Judy.
Come on,
We need to do something.
Yeah.
For God's sake, do something, right? That's what always happens when we have a meeting. You know, lots of talk, no bloody action. Let's talk and then, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is the big thing. You know, manyan is a great buzzword, I think, in the chough. Don't talk. Do it, for God's sake, because otherwise there is no point, whatever, in carrying on. They make difficulties for themselves. They've just got to get on with it. And this time, they've got to.
I couldn't agree more, and there's one problem that we really must tackle immediately.
Come and look at this place. I mean, what do you think standing here looking in?
This is a mess. Constantly saying that front window. I come down, have a couple of days off, and we've got posters here, and I just go, take it out. Just bloody take it out.
But you're the one that says, oh, I want a sign in the window that says bacon baps. You're the one that says, I want that Cornish Pasty Association poster in that window. So a lot of it is stuff that you've told people to do.
I think the important thing is let's do what we can now to make it all look better and arrange for a glazier to come and fix that window.
Absolutely.
Today.
Okay.
It means you lose the decal.
Yeah, you
Decal's
think
not...
so?
Darling, it's stopping you seeing into the shop.
I hate it.
So.
Do you?
Oh, good for you. I hate it.
I don't like it.
But also, darling, you're in an independent family bakery. Everything you should do should be pointed towards making sure that people understand that. That is the kind of thing that a big firm does.
Instead of having a bloody decal of someone else's bread, let's have our own real bread in the window.
It's our bread.
All right, yeah, fine, but it's still a bloody two-dimensional image instead of three-dimensional real fresh baked bread.
I think that was very positive. I seem to finally have got them quite fired up. It is frustrating, though, because this is all fairly basic stuff. These are the first small steps. I mean, honestly, that window, who would ever have thought that it was acceptable to leave a window smashed like that for 6 weeks? Really not rocket science, is it? But I'm hoping that this is just the beginning of the momentum they'll gain, and it's going to take all of them to fully sign up to this process to make sure we achieve as much as we need to.
And it's got all these nasty hooks and yellow spots.
Yeah, well, that's for the Christmas decoration. Oh, no. How long have you waited to tell me this?
Oh, it's been a few years.
A few years?
I've been doing it, I want to tell you, ever since I've been working here, but I wouldn't dare.
OK.
Elaine clearly finds change difficult. But if the business is going to go forward, then she needs to take a step back.
It's really important, darling, because, you know, the world moves on. And one has to move on with it.
That's fine. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to slip this jet.
Good, good. But Elaine needs proof that one of the kids can take it on.
The last 2 years, she's been talking about saying, oh, you know, I'm going to be 60 soon, I want to retire, it's time I took a step back. But she can't. It's like she can't leave it alone. It's her baby. She built it. She developed it. She'll always be down there, interfering.
I want Greg and Louisa to step up to the plate to prove to me and their mother that they're ready to take over the reins. So I've asked Greg to spend more time in Padstow getting some hands-on bakery experience. And I've asked Louisa to focus on developing their products.
Let's go make pasties.
Louisa is taking steps to show she's ready. The family gave up on making a frozen pasty, but she's determined to crack it. I think she can do it.
I am the manager down here on paper, but at the end of the day, she owns the business, so it works like any other business. I should imagine if whoever the guy that owns Tesco's walks into one of his stores, I'm sure the store manager, if he tells him to move that over there, he's going to do it. When we bake them, we're going to part bake them, but we're going to part bake them for different times to see which is going to give us the best result.
But the proof of the pudding, as they say...
Da, 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 da.
Wow.
Da, 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 da.
These are...
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
They look very good.
Well, the pastry's holding up nicely,
Yes,
isn't
it certainly is.
Which one shall we try of these?
Middle one.
Should we try the middle one?
Doesn't taste dry. It's dry.
Very dry. Too hard.
And that's not good.
The potato's too hard on that.
Yeah.
Chewy. I don't think we like those then.
No, we don't like those.
It looks like a...
It feels
like
Horrible.
The bastard's just
Well,
the pastry
it doesn't
that
smell
looks
nice.
awful.
Ugh.
Just chop it up. Get this out. Get it.
No gravy.
No gravy. Dry again.
Several pasties in, my faith is in danger of being shaken.
Tasteless.
Yeah.
This was one of the unbaked ones again.
Is it?
It is, yeah.
No,
Oh, that's
it
nasty.
doesn't work, does
But
it?
it just doesn't work. Unbaking it doesn't work.
OK, well, that's one thing we've discovered.
Yeah.
Next up, pasties with a longer pre-bake.
Oh, that's better. Look at the juice and
Juice
gravy
is coming
coming out.
out.
Yeah,
The
that's,
pastry's a lot thicker.
Yeah. This is tasty.
that looks nice too.
It does.
I think actually it's a little bit
That looks
nicer.
better.
It's quite nice.
It's good. So what do you think, after all this? Do you think it's possible now to
Yes.
produce a frozen pasty that meets your exacting standards?
Exactly. Yeah, I do.
Alleluia. That's what I call a result. In just 1 week, Louise has overturned years of procrastination and developed a pasty that could finally escape the confines of seasonal Cornwall. But it's not just the pasties I want to see take to the road.
I have a challenge for you,
Okay.
which is I would like you to try and sell your pasties out of a mobile van at a big event. The ways that you could use a van are enormous. You could use them at
absolutely.
Christmas fairs, football matches, and you could do something throughout the year.
Yeah.
So are you up for it?
I am, definitely.
Yes,
Yes,
Lisa?
I'll be up
Thanks,
for it.
darling. All right, perfect. Thank you very much.
That's quite all right.
That was a real breakthrough. They've actually achieved something very concrete. They have a recipe for a frozen pasty, and they seem very gung-ho about trying with this mobile van idea.
I think a van is a good idea, actually.
Car boot sales, that sort of thing. People are always wanting hot food, and what's better than a Cornish pasty? It's the ultimate convenience food, isn't it?
A lot less trouble than making a burger or a bacon bap or something like that, because it's already made.
I understand we've got a long way to go, but I have to say the Eade family showed great signs of starting to work very well together. One thing we all agreed was essential was that Greg spend time on the shop floor getting first-hand experience of their products. But as the weeks roll on, he remains conspicuous by his absence.
I mean, it has sort of been quite sort of trying at times down here. Greg hasn't really been down, so, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. But doing a full day, either in here, in the shop, and up in the bakery, will probably help him understand sort of like the pressures on like our time. He sort of is trying to do jobs that he's never done before, you know. So yeah, I'm a marketing expert. It's like, well, you can't be a marketing expert. I've read a book on it. Well, that doesn't make you a marketing expert, you know. It's like I read a book on brain surgery, but I'm not going to go and cut someone's head open, you know, just to see if it worked, all right.
Today, Greg will be forced to get his hands dirty. I want the whole family to test out if selling pasties at events could be another answer to their seasonality problems. I've booked them a pitch at a car boot sale in Somerset. There's a lot riding on the event. If successful, getting on the road could provide a real lifeline for business during the winter. Louise has baked hundreds of pasties to flog to the hungry masses.
Sleep ready still. Right, let's see how long these little beauties take.
Everything's pretty much set up. All the ovens seem to be working, so yeah, amazingly, so far, so good.
We'll sell the lot. They'll be queuing up to buy them in about half hour.
But any cause for optimism soon evaporates.
Things aren't looking good.
Well, this is slightly disheartening. It certainly doesn't have either the number of stalls or the number of visitors that I was assured it was going to have. Of course, there is a burger van here, which presupposes that they think it's worth their while to be here. Maybe it's going to get massively busier.
the cost of just everything that we've baked to bring up today. We need to sell really about 300 to 400 pasties to make our money back.
I think if we gave a tray each to everyone here at the minute, we would still have some left.
Not good. Not good at all.
Do you want a pasty?
Hello.
Hello.
Or a sausage roll.
Chicken pie.
Oh, I haven't got a chicken pie.
The turnout is a crushing blow, but still I'm convinced there's something in this idea. Mobile catering is a growing sector, and smaller overheads mean profit margins can be up to 40% higher than in a restaurant or shop.
Is it quieter today than usual?
Very. It's just terrible. It's never been this quiet.
Really? My pasty sellers are very disheartened and I feel awful.
Yeah, the thing is, you've got to have good days and bad days. Everybody in the food trades knows one day they're going to make money and one day they're not.
Yeah.
That is the ups and downs of anybody. So if they're willing to put in the hours, they'll get their bonuses.
It's very encouraging to hear that actually it would have been busier here usually. I think the argument that some days you win and some days you lose don't work so well when you have a static shop that already you're paying rent and rates on. So yes, you can win and lose there, but you wouldn't want all the extra expense of taking a van out unless you're pretty damn tootin' sure that you're going to make some money.
Expecting a rush of customers, Elaine and Rob have turned up to lend a hand.
It's a bit thin on the ground, I'm afraid.
It's dire.
The family have gone to such effort, I'm determined that the day doesn't end in disaster.
It isn't working here, so let's move on. We're mobile, let's do it.
I've heard about another market up the road, so we packed down. And then set up again 10 miles away.
What else do we need here? Anything else?
Where things immediately feel a lot more positive.
Can we interest you in a Cornish pasty?
We're warming them up currently in our oven as well, so...
Thank you. Come and try our Cornish pasty. A couple of cheese, leek and onions too.
Cornish, that's £5, please. Lovely, thank you.
At least there's a few more people here. We have some chance of redeeming ourselves on the disastrous start to the day.
Yep, certainly. Do you want just that one? OK.
Nice Cornish pasty, anyone?
0.
Come on, Lou.
I can't, my voice is going.
Delicious, fresh Cornish pasty.
The pasties are soon flying off the shelves.
8, righto.
Getting the attention of the punters
Yeah?
and the organisers.
We just wondered if you'd be interested in attending on a Saturday. It's obviously full of market traders, market stalls, that sort of thing.
Is it much busier than this?
It's a lot busier on a Saturday.
So what's the sort of footfall that you get on a Saturday?
We get several thousand people, about 2,000 people on a
Honestly.
Saturday.
Although we haven't got time to make all of our money back, the day is ending in a much more upbeat fashion.
We haven't made any money.
No.
We've been given some quite good advice by quite a lot of people, haven't we? I do think there's mileage in it. You know, if it's costed out properly, obviously equipped properly, and it's like filling up the spare capacity in the wintertime.
I'm thrilled to see Greg finally separated from his computer, but I think if he's to earn the respect of his colleagues and help the business move forward, he must do more.
What I did find quite cheering is the fact that you all pulled so well together. I think, you know, to a certain extent, you have to be seen to be getting your hands dirty. I appreciate that you have different roles, and ultimately your responsibility is completely different in that business from Louisa's, yeah?
Yeah.
But actually, you can't just expect things to happen without your impetus. Someone has to drive this whole thing, and you have to step forward and drive it forward, because otherwise you're going to stay stuck. Ultimately, Greg is the last arrival to this business. He's fresh blood. He's the one who should be coming with all the ideas and all the energy, not quite so beaten down by the exhausting season that they've just undergone. So now it's over to him, as far as I'm concerned. He has to prove his worth.
Back in Padstow, Louisa is keeping herself busy once again. she's begun a complete overhaul of the Chough's old-fashioned confectionery range.
I've just done a lemon drizzle and a chocolate brownie. Kerry's doing some hazelnut muffins. We're doing some roasted banana muffins and an apple and onion tart over there.
And nephew Ryan is experimenting with some new speciality breads.
We usually do actually about a square. I always have Marcus's, he does add some like little round ones. They look really nice as well, so I'm just having a go just to see if I get anything.
But despite my plea, Greg still hasn't got his hands dirty at the bakery. And what's more, even though Louisa's developed a recipe for a frozen pasty, he hasn't sent out a single sample to potential retailers.
You know, why not see if we can find someone, Greg, that wants to buy a small amount?
I've written down a list of 6 potential wholesale customers here.
Just
I'm fed up of being told that I've got to go out and find customers when that's what I'm doing, and then I'm told we're not going to, we can't, we haven't got a product to sell.
A very small customer that is only looking at buying, but which you said actually both of them are no good. But we've got a hell of a lot of other bloody stuff that we can market. I mean, there's a lot of our customers out there that we deliver to. We haven't even asked them, would you like to sell our pasties? I mean, Constantine Place says, do they have pasties or don't they? Let's go around and have a look.
I like Greg. He's a very personable young man and he's certainly clever, but it is incredibly frustrating. I have seen him talk the talk, but I've never seen him walk the walk. He's promised me the earth, the moon and the stars, and I've never received any of it yet. And I'm afraid my patience is run very, very thin.
Very cool. Hello.
Hi, Greg. Alex Polizzi here.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Yeah, very well.
I just wanted to be told what's been happening recently, what you've been up to.
Well, I went down to Cornwall the week before last. Unfortunately, we hadn't moved on much from when we met with you last.
Right.
Well, sourcing potential customers is up to you, isn't it, darling? So how are you with that?
Yeah, it is. I've got a list of 5 or 6.
Right.
But the rest of the family are very much, well, until we know that we can mass produce this, we can't approach them.
But I thought that we were going... I'm sorry, I thought that it was decided that you were going to try for some smaller pasty wholesalers. I thought that was the agreement with the family. It says on your card that you're IT and sales director, and I wanted to see you setting up some sales appointments and making sure that you carry them out. You need the practice, and the product needs the feedback.
Yeah. So basically, Alex, you're giving me complete... the authorisation to go ahead and contact these companies. Because what's holding me back isn't that I don't want to, I definitely want to do this, but I'm being held back by others who are saying don't go and approach them because we haven't answered ticked all the boxes we need to tick.
I know, but let's find out if they like the bloody product. OK, so I'm putting this firmly on your shoulders, Greg.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yes, so it'll be you who's letting me down if it's not done. You definitely have my full authorisation.
That's fine then.
All right, darling, so I would like you to do that, and then I shall smile on you, happily. And it will be as if the sun came out.
Don't worry, I won't let you down, Alex.
OK, thank you.
All right,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Well, she certainly gave me a talking to, didn't she? I don't think it was fair about the frozen pasties. Not me that's not going to, it's other people stopping me. But look, at the moment we've got no customers whatsoever for this frozen pasty, so what the hell are we doing it for, really?
If the bakery is to survive long term, it needs swift and radical change, but progress is glacial. 2 months in, and they're facing the sad situation of having to let staff go.
We've already laid people off this season. I sincerely hope that this is the last year that I will have to lay off good, loyal members of staff.
To make matters worse, Elaine is put out of action by a bad back, stalling progress further. My mobile pasty idea seems to have disappeared into the ether. As for Greg getting hands-on with products, well, it's a familiar story.
I think Greg's in the office. I thought he was coming in here in the bakery today, so I'm not too sure what's going on. if I'm honest.
Improving their wholesale business will need a salesman with passion and knowledge, and I'm beginning to think Greg just ain't it. I've asked Louisa and Ryan to test his understanding of the new bread range.
Yeah, not too bad.
Good.
So, the new bread.
Well, some of it, not all of it. But...
Yeah.
So,
Ryan sent me an email and had a chat about it on the phone, so I should know most of it. I mean, obviously those are our two standard slice, granary and white. These are new burger bats. See the sourdough ones, right?
No, they're just plain bats.
It's just normal plain bats, but they're smaller than our standard
They're
ones,
a little bit smaller, yeah.
A little bit smaller and rounder. What are these ones then? Tea cakes?
no.
What are they? I genuinely don't know what these are. I've never seen them before.
Brioche.
These are the brioche, are they? Oh my God. So they're sweet?
I thought you might be slightly better than that at what things were.
It is frustrating. I mean, to be honest, I thought he did know a bit more than he did. I was hoping he knew more than he did, so it is frustrating.
And boys are putting so much effort into these products, you know, and we want to get them out there and sold. What's the point in putting all this effort into stuff and, you know, it not being sold properly? I think, you know, that's one of the areas Greg needs to sort of focus on is sort of selling and relating and, you know, getting a bit more excited about some bread, you know. We are. It's lovely, you know, it's fabulous.
I don't think it really properly tested my product knowledge because what we were looking at was a set of products that are still in development. You got to remember Ryan only started developing these last week. He was at Marcus the previous week learning about them. So I'd never seen them before. These are our chia batter as well, fully baked loaf. No.
Start again.
I'd wanted to relaunch this business in a few weeks' time, but it's still in a complete mess. So I'm heading back to Padstow to bring things to a head.
Greg has been talking for months. So it's my very first visit about coming and spending time down here and really learning about the products in depth so that he can be a decent salesman. All things being fair, we could have achieved great things here, but I do feel that I'm constantly put off with excuses, and it's very annoying.
Greg's inaction may be making my blood boil, but the problem's bigger than that. The uncertainty around the future and whether Elaine will hand over the reins means they're all scared stiff to make a decision for themselves.
I truly believed after my first visit here that this was somewhere I was going to be able to make a huge difference. I was going to be able to dramatically change their fortunes. And I feel like I've been stymied by the family's procrastination.
I've called the family to an emergency meeting because I fear unless they tackle this problem, the business is going nowhere.
I wanted to see enormous change here in my time with you, and I feel like I haven't managed it. I feel like I've failed. And I don't think that that's from any lack of my trying. I really don't, because I have kept on saying what we need to do. You know, I think the whole succession of the place needs to be discussed and who ultimately is in charge when you're not around. I'll give you my opinion for what it's worth, and I'm very happy to be shouted down. Greg isn't here the whole time. You do an essential role, but you're just not, darling, and someone needs to be on the ground. Ryan, I don't know if you agree with me, but I see you as a more, you know, someone who's very happy to work very hard, but more in the background. You don't particularly want to lead the business forward, and so I think that leads Lou. There has to be someone with whom the ultimate authority rests. And what I've seen is that the person who, when I needed stuff done, has always sprung to the doing is Lou. It's very nice to have someone who doesn't procrastinate and just gets on with stuff. You should be very dynamic and mobile. That's the great thing about being a small family business, that you can react and do stuff and make changes instantaneously. And that's something that, historically, it seems to me you've been very bad at doing.
Part of this has been hampered by, you know, the fact that I've not been operational for 6 weeks.
OK, well,
maybe the fact that you're not well, someone else does need to be in charge to make the decisions all the time, because when you're not well, we need someone else to come and start doing that, because you're not available to do it all the time, you know, so it's...
And the trouble is, as well, if we do make a decision in your absence, if you don't like that decision, well, I wouldn't have done it like that, so we're not doing it anymore, you know?
So therefore, it's not discussed beforehand. That's the big problem. You know, like, sort of things are altered and there's no discussion that goes on about it. You know, and I think more of this has got to happen.
There's a lot of discussing that goes on, but the discussing never seems to really lead anywhere. You know, absolutely. I can't imagine how you feel about it, because I feel sick. And
No,
I
I do.
honestly beg you, Elaine, to think about how you're going to work this hierarchy. Ultimately, you have to decide who's going to be in charge, OK?
Yeah.
What more could I do? I'm sure that some of that was very hard for them to hear, particularly Elaine, but I honestly don't think that I would have done my job if I'd avoided saying it. Let the cards fall as they will.
It doesn't work, and there does need to be one person in charge. Who that person is, I don't know, but she, you know, it can't be me. She's right, it can't be me because I live in Wales. So yeah, I agree with her. I'm stepping out of it.
To be honest, I'd rather work. So. Yeah.
This sounds
So
as though
that's
it's
like
a
we've
case.
made a decision then,
No,
isn't
I'm
it?
sorry. This sounds like a case of default. At the moment, Lou's got a lot of skills to learn before she can step into my shoes.
You've got to give it a chance, Elaine.
Got to give her the chance, but there's a lot of skills that she's got to learn. And the first one, you know, she's got to show me a bit more respect. And she's also got to learn from me. If she's got an idea, we've got to sit and talk about it. We haven't got to argue. One of us hasn't got to stomp off out the door, or the other one stomp off out the door, or all the toys out the pram. If there's an idea, we talk about it. We move forward together.
We do talk about it.
But
Well, we
I
do.
think if you
The trouble is, I mean, we talk about it, but a lot of the time you still won't listen.
You know, you've got to let go, Mum, and I know you've got a lot of problems and issues, but sometimes you just got to let people do it on their own, and if they screw up, they screw up, but you've got to try and let it happen, I think.
There's been a 4-year plan for about 10 years
Yeah,
now.
well,
So and the thing is, if you carry on hovering around, no one's going to take that
so
responsibility.
you can guarantee me now,
I can
all of you, £50,000 now, I'll walk away and you'll never see me again. OK?
Well, that's
No,
not
no,
what we're
no,
saying.
That's not
That's what you just said.
Not
We've
what
been
we're
going on for
saying.
10 years. We can do it without you.
No, we're not even saying that at all.
No, I think this conversation's gone too far anyway. I think over and out, please. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
You know,
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
going to go on with this anymore. It's...
Oh, there we go. Yes, it's quite difficult. I mean, Mum, you know, the chough is so much about who she is. You know, it's sort of like part of her. You know, like it's like her child.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think she is finding it very, very difficult to let go. And you know, in some ways, I don't know whether she can.
The flaw in Elaine, I think she's a genius, what she does. But the flaw in her is that she won't let go. You have to drag her almost out kicking and screaming. And thereby lies the problem.
I'm not ready for her to step away, you know. But, you know, I think, you know, we've got to sort of push towards the future as well. And towards her, you know, being able to step up, having the confidence in us to run this place for her and for her to be able to sit back and take the money.
So she has to relax the reins a bit and you guys have to push a little harder. I mean, I think there's a combination of the two.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's about right.
The trouble is when someone's cornered, they tend to lash out and they tend to not think the thing through. If she doesn't and Louisa turns her back on it and walks away, that's a business goal for mine. You know, it's all been for nothing then.
It is a very precious thing, a business that you create. You nurture it, but, you know, there is time when you've got to realise you've got to let it go. And I don't think I'm not here for the sake of being here. You know, I've got a life to live. I've got loads of things that I want to do. I really feel as though we've just got to hang on here a little bit more longer.
Facing up to issues like this is one of the nightmares of family businesses, but getting things out in the open can only have a positive effect. As the dust settles, it seems it may just have done the trick. Ryan continues to radically improve his breads, and in a very welcome turn of events, Greg has accepted his limitations and called on the help of Ryan's wife, Erica, to bolster the sales drive.
Obviously, through Ryan, I know what's in the products and how they're made. Just made more sense.
Sounds like you two have very interesting pillow talk.
I know, it's really sad.
There's 10% rye in this one.
All right, well, I'll see you 1 o'clock on Monday with all the samples. OK, cheers, bye.
Darling, brilliant! God, how I'm so pleased. Well done, thanks.
OK, thanks.
Yeah.
Finally, movement. One phone call and Erica has got an appointment to show off Ryan's new bread to the head chef of the biggest hotel in Padstow. Et voila, it's that simple. It's not just sales where Greg has sought to make a change. He's also come out in support of his sister leading the chough into the future.
I mean, they are world famous.
The problem is, Greg, she doesn't trust me by now. She's never going to trust me. You know, I think she's always had more sort of respect for what you've ever done than me, and that's always how it's always been.
You know, she doesn't trust you, I don't think, in all honesty, to run it, which I think is crazy, because what I've seen is that you're more than capable of doing it. Cheers. Here's to a much better working relationship.
Yeah.
The overall more proactive attitude is heartening. It's not just brother and sister that have turned over a new leaf. The shop is being entirely refitted. And what's more, Greg has finally followed up on the frozen pasty project and sent a sample to a major national retailer.
Inside here, ladies and gentlemen.
The feedback is very encouraging.
Here's our first batch. That is our new frozen product, and that, I believe, is the future of the Chough bakery.
And the future also holds better off-season profits.
We've got the steak at $2.50.
With their new breads and pasties, the family can clean up at Christmas fairs by going mobile.
Lovely, that's £5, OK? Much obliged, sir. I'll just get you some change a moment. What we need to do, I think, is get a series of these like this, and then we must put them in a calendar of events, so every year we know when that time of the year comes, we're going to do these markets. Thank you very much indeed. OK, hope you enjoy. And of course, the great deal of markets that take place in Cornwall, the ones we want to do are in the winter when we're having problems, you know, with our cash flow and turnover.
Would you like to come and try some of our bread? Elaine's famous bats. You want to hear the buzz down in the shop and up at the bakery, you know? Hi there, would you like to try some of this? We have to reinvent ourselves. You can't just stay still.
Thank you very much. That's £5 for another cake.
Thanks very much. Don't forget your bread.
It's my last visit to Padstow. I'm here for the bakery's relaunch event, the town's first ever Cornish Pasty Day. And I'm here to see the new look shop for myself. First impressions? I'm thrilled. The once dreary and messy shopfront has been completely transformed. It's stylish, harmonious, and feels much more like an independent family business. And instead of hiding their products away, they're now proudly showing them off to the punters of Padstow. Inside, the scruffy signs are a thing of the past. There's a much more unified theme that complements a selection of far more tempting treats.
Hi, Alex.
How's it going? How are you?
It's looking great outside. Are you pleased with this?
It's looking really, really smart.
It really stands out now.
Yeah.
And it just looks very professional and very slick.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, now the confectionery range is just so much better.
Good, darling.
You know, she is a creative chef, and at last she's out of that pasty kitchen.
Oh, darling, it's nice. It's
you know, it's
compliment.
really coming
a
on.
Compliment. That's nice. I'm really pleased. Well, I think that this looks. I mean, there's a big change from when I first walked in here. I know that there's a long way to go, darling, but I feel very positive, and I just hope that today works as well as it could do.
This is Padstow. Never rains on my parade.
The sun may be setting on my time with the family, but the townsfolk have come out in droves to support this local business and their Cornish Pasty Day. The family have come up trumps, laying on Cornish dancing, fancy dress, and a world exclusive.
Cornwall's first proper pasty crimping competition. On your mark, get set, go!
The local community, current customers, potential new ones and the press have turned out in force to support the Chough bakery.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fisherman's friend.
Even the town's most famous foodie, Rick Stein, who also sells pasties, has turned up, clearly checking out the competition.
These are
They're good.
Very good, very good. I'm a bit worried about them, actually.
You are nice, thanks. Well, it's good that the pasties now become a protected product, isn't it?
I think it is. It's about time, really. We've been all too slow in this country to sort of claim what's ours. I think I'm really very pride and satisfaction that finally something like this has been recognised as unique to a particular part of the country. Now that you've got to make the pasties in Cornwall, the whole thing, the economics suddenly changed, don't they?
Exactly, that's why it's so important.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good luck to them, because they work hard, they really do, actually.
I really hope that the family can boost their profits by selling their pasties all over the country. But now it's time for me to bow out gracefully.
Thanks very much.
You know you can always call Marcus for any advice.
Yeah, we'll do it, Murray.
All right, good.
He's on quick time.
Bye, later. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, darling. You've been
Lovely
a
to
star.
It's been absolutely superb to have met you.
I think a good, healthy debate is good, as long as you actually solve something at the end of it.
That's coming down your wheels.
Thank you, thank you. I don't need to wish you luck, darling, because I think that, you know, ultimately one creates one's own luck. And you've done it so far. I wish the kids luck, because I think they all need to pick, you know, they need to step up their gear.
Yes, definitely. I think they're on the way, though. I definitely have seen a huge change in them.
Good.
All I can say is thank you, Alex.
So we're parting
thank you,
friend.
Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
I'm glad, my darling. It's been a pleasure.
And it's been a pleasure for us.
What can I say? This has not been the easiest job I've ever done. They're quite a difficult family and it was quite a big challenge. However, I do feel that they've set off well down the path I laid down for them. They've definitely got a lot of potential. The future's in their hands.
2 months on, and the shop and their products look great.
I think it's amazing that Alex has shown us what we can achieve in such a small amount of time. We've improved our products no end.
They're actually becoming artisans. They're getting pride in what they're producing. I think it was the sort of, I don't know, sort of kick up the butt that we needed, maybe.
So, the shop's in shape. But is Elaine going to retire and hand over power?
Not bad.
It's looking nice, isn't it?
Almost symmetry.
Almost.
Almost, yeah. But it's never going to be an easy situation between Louisa and myself.
At the end of the day, we are actually singing from the same hymn sheet, but, you know, it's just different verses.
Both of us have got to learn to respect each other.
He's got a lot more confidence in, like me, Ryan and Greg.
Do you know what? I've got faith now. It's going to be all right. I can see a light at the end of the tunnel.